Hey there friends, it's Kate and welcome back to my channel, Golden State Educate. So for today's video, I thought it would be super fun to bring you a Q&A. When I originally started this channel 2 months ago, there were 0 subscribers and now I'm almost at 2,000 subscribers. So hello, thank you so much for subscribing my channel. Thank you so much for following along on my journey, clicking on my videos, watching them, engaging with me. It's been so fun. Never did I think that within just a little over 2 months I would have this many subscribers that you're following on YouTube, which is just so wild to me. So thank you so much for being here. I get so many questions from a lot of you here on YouTube, and I also get a lot of questions in the comments and in DMs on Instagram. So I thought it'd be really good to do a teacher Q&A, or just, I guess it's kind of just a Q&A in general, because there's a lot of different questions that I'll be answering in this video. So I thought it'd be a good way for you to get to know me a little bit more, and this way I can answer a lot of the questions I've been getting all in one space instead of having to answer all of the questions as they come in. So again, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please hit the red button down below and subscribe to my channel. Like this video if you like it, and leave me a comment down below so I can interact with you all there. Okay, so I have a list on my computer of all the questions. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. Like I said, I got a lot of questions on Instagram, and I also got a lot of questions from YouTube. So a lot of them were the same. So I just kind of chose the ones that I thought were best and then broke them up into 3 categories. So I have general questions, teaching related questions, and then like YouTube related questions. So those are the categories, and then I'll answer the questions as we go. So the first question is, how old are you? I'm actually 24, but my birthday is next week. So I'm super excited. I'm going to be 25 this year, which just seems like such an old age, which I'm sure so many people are laughing like, 25, that's so young, but when you are 25 you feel kind of old. But I'm really excited to be 25. I love birthdays, I love getting older, so I'm super looking forward to that. My next question is, how long have you been dating your boyfriend? I've mentioned my boyfriend a couple times in previous videos, and everyone is very curious about him. He does know about my channel, but I don't know if I'm gonna film videos with him. I might, maybe in the future, but definitely like not anytime soon, just because like most of my channel is teaching related and he is not in my classroom with me. But we've been together for 4 years. So we met in college, and we've been dating ever since. Next question is, what do you do when you feel overwhelmed? Teaching is like a very hectic job, and now like being a first-year teacher and starting a YouTube channel and being online, it's kind of been a lot. So what do I do when I feel overwhelmed? Well, I kind of try to limit the overwhelm by having like manageable to-do lists for the most part. So make my to-do list, make sure I get everything done for the day that I was hoping to get done, and then kind of set up my list for the rest of the week of like, kind of like with kids, like must do and may do's. I have the things that I have to get done in the day, and then if I have extra time I can do other things, and I kind of function like that. When I feel overwhelmed, I talk to my mom. I love my mom. I call my mom, I call my friends, I talk to my boyfriend. I just kind of, for me, talking, I'm sure as you can tell I love to talk, so I need to talk it out, and it kind of helps me feel a little less overwhelmed. Reading a book, I'm a huge reader, I love reading, so when I'm feeling overwhelmed, if I just have like a cup of coffee and my book, that's just a nice chill way for me. So either talking, walking, or reading a book are the ways that I help to feel calm when I'm overwhelmed. Let's see. I got a couple questions about like positivity or like having a positive mindset, and everyone's like, oh, you seem like a really positive, upbeat person, and I am, but also, you know, you only see the edited, like cut together pieces of my life, and I'm not going to I try to be as real as possible, but I also feel like it's a lot easier to take an image of someone based off of like what they're posting, and you don't always see like the times that are really hard or the times where we're stressing out. So I want to be as real as possible on my channel, but this is pretty much how I am all the time. I am pretty positive, I'm pretty happy and upbeat. So people say how to feel positive. I don't know, I guess always looking on the bright side, taking things that are challenging and turning them into learning experiences, talking through it with my mom and my friends. Like I said, I'm a big journaler too. I love journaling. So if I'm ever having a rough day or kind of having a hard point or feeling really negative, I just kind of journal about what I'm grateful for, or like things that are happening in my life that I'm really happy about. So yeah, I guess that's just kind of how I stay positive, and lots of coffee. So that's what I do to stay positive. Oh, this is super fun. A lot of people said that they want a makeup tutorial, which I thought was hilarious because I mentioned in my very first video on this channel that I wanted to start making a YouTube channel like 10 or 11 years ago when I was in 8th grade, and I was super into makeup. So I first started watching like big makeup artists, like girls, not even makeup artists, they're just girls. And I loved the makeup community, and I thought that I was going to be a beauty guru. So yeah, I was super into hair and makeup when I was a teenager and I was in high school. So I thought it's so funny that someone asked me to do a makeup tutorial, because I literally wanted to do that when I was a lot younger, like 10 years ago. So yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about doing like an outfits of the week. So if you want to see like a get ready with me, let me know. If you want to see a get ready with me, I would probably include my makeup tutorial there, because I pretty much do the exact same makeup every day. Like I have a ton of makeup, but I seriously use like the same like 9 to 10 products every day. So yeah, super easy. If that's something that you're interested in, let me know and I can film that for you guys. All right, so the next few questions are about teaching. So the first question is, did you always know that you wanted to be a teacher? This is kind of a funny question, because I feel like yes and no. Like my mom's a teacher, my aunts are teachers, I have so many teachers in my family. So I always was like growing up around school or talking about school or being at my mom's school in the summers and stuff like that, or like helping her prep stuff and cutting stuff and like hanging bulletin boards when I was like 10 or 11. So I feel like I always loved school, but I always like felt like I should just do something else instead of like just being a teacher, just like everyone in my family and just like my mom. So I tried really hard to do I tried to think about what I wanted to do, but at the end of the day, everything I did just kept coming back to teaching. It was like every job I did was about kids, or like I did the after school care at the YMCA, I did summer camp at the YMCA, I was a nanny, I was a babysitter, I was a substitute. Like everything that I did kind of ended up being teaching related or with kids. So I feel like I just grew up with kids, I grew up loving kids, I grew up with people that loved kids and talking about school and loving knowledge and education. So it just kind of happened that way. I did get my bachelor's in psychology, so I thought I was kind of gonna go that route, or even like school psychology, but once I started getting in the classroom, I knew that that's where I wanted to be. So yes and no. I kind of always thought I was going to be a teacher. For a period of time, I thought I wasn't going to, but I'm happy that this is the career that I ended up picking. The next question is, did you always know what school or district you wanted to teach in? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I didn't even know if I was still going to live in the Bay Area after I graduated. I wasn't sure where I was going to live, because the Bay Area is huge and there's so many different parts of it. Like just so many different things. I had no idea where I was even going to be. So the district that I ended up in is fabulous. Like it's so good. I love the district that I'm in. I love the school that I'm at, but never in my life had I heard about this school prior to me getting a job here, and I didn't think that I would even work at this district, or that it was in an area that I would be interested in working in or teaching in, but super happy with where I ended up. Someone said, these kind of questions go hand in hand. So it was, did you always want to teach kindergarten, and what is your ideal grade? So the first is definitely not. I have no experience with kindergarten. I student taught in 2nd and 5th grade, and all of my teaching experience had been 1st grade through 5th grade. So when it came to kindergarten, I feel like kindergarten is like its own world. Like people that do kindergarten know everything about kindergarten. That is their strongest suit, but that is like their thing. So no, I did not think that I was going to end up in kindergarten, simply because so many people know so much more about kindergarten, but that's just kind of what happened. I got hired for 1st grade, a lot of the kindergarten team retired. I had to step into the kindergarten placement, and let me tell you, I've loved it so much. I loved it so much more. It has taken me by surprise so much more than I ever thought it would. So yeah, I am really happy to be in kindergarten. I never thought that I would be, but I'm super happy to be here. And then what is your ideal grade? So I love kindergarten. I'm happy with where I'm at for right now. But ideally my ideal grade range is like 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, preferably like 3rd or 4th. But that 2nd, 3rd, 4th is like a really nice sweet spot, like 7 to 9. I really like that age. And the curriculum content that they talk about in those grades is really interesting to me. So yeah, I hope to eventually end up staying in 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, or moving up to one of those grades. And I hope to teach one of those grades for a long period of time. And the next question is, what is the most challenging part of teaching so far? Well, it's virtual, it's distance learning. So I feel like it's kind of all challenging, or the hardest part, at least for me, is kind of like everything that we learned in our credential program. I felt so prepared. Like I was like, I am an educator. I am ready to teach the children of America. And then it was like, oh, here's distance learning. This is nothing we ever really taught you about, or like, you know how to use some apps, but like this is completely different. And like partner talk is out the window, and like all the different things and strategies that we had learned kind of isn't super applicable. So I think it's been hard to get new resources and teach myself how to do it when we're in a world of like no one really knows how to do it. So that's been hard. And everyone says that you're going to be so tired, but for some reason I thought that like, oh, it's distance learning, like they're not coming, I won't be that tired. No, I'm so tired, I'm exhausted. So yeah, I wasn't prepared for how tired I was gonna be just from teaching online. But yeah, and I think the biggest thing is just obviously distance learning is not the preferred method of teaching. There's a reason why there are schools, there's a reason why we go to the location to do the learning with each other. So yeah, I think just with distant learning, that's been challenging. I've been very tired, but for the most part, I'm really surprised. I think that's kind of the key word for me, surprised. I'm very pleasantly surprised with how well it's worked out so far. And then someone said that they're starting their student teaching right now, and they said, is there anything challenging about lesson plans? Okay, yes, let me just tell you, I love lesson planning, but as a teacher, it's so much harder because in student teaching, it was like, I had a general idea of like what we did before and what we're going to do and like all I really need to do for this lesson. And I had someone there for like constant support. Or it was like just a couple of lessons, you know? And now it's just like, okay, every lesson that's taught, like it's designed by me. I'm the one that does it. Like it won't happen if I don't make it happen. So all the little parts have been challenging. And then I also think the biggest issue is like time constraints. So the day is already shorter. We don't want them sitting on Zoom for too long, but we have to do live instruction. And then there's like STEAM class and like other different things that they're doing, or like assessments. Like this whole week we've been having to do assessments. So like in addition to the assessment, they have to do math and everything else that you see us doing throughout the day. So I think the hardest part about lesson plans is like making sure they get the point, it's engaging, it's exciting, they're not sitting for too long, it wraps everything up, there's no time constraints for the lesson. I don't know, it's hard. It's one of those things where I love making lessons too, and I want them to like be powerhouse lessons and just nail it. And sometimes they're not, you know, like not everything you do is going to work out. The kids aren't going to love everything. Everything isn't going to be as smooth as you'd hoped. But when you do get a lesson that like you put your heart into and it works out, it's so fun. And this question is your interview process. How did you feel and what was the process? So I applied online, did all my applications online. And I heard back from the school district that I work in now. We'd like you to have an interview with us. So I had like 4 days before the interview happened, so I kind of prepared for it. And then I went into the interview and it was on Zoom. So I kind of, another thing about being hired during this whole like pandemic COVID season is my interviews were not in person, they were online. So it was a lot different. I felt nervous, but like I'm also like in the safety of my own home, and like I did have notes next to me. So like, I think it would have been way harder and more nerve-wracking if I had to just do it normally. But I also was super nervous right before it started, but once you click on, like, I don't know, for me, I was a dancer, I was a performer, I talk a lot. So I feel like once I get started, it's all fine. It's just the starting that I'm nervous about. But once I get started, I'm pretty relaxed, pretty much myself. I try to answer everything to the best of my ability. And I get a lot of questions about interviews. I'm kind of in a tough spot with that because I want to give you guys advice, but I also feel like, you know, the school year has started at September, so like maybe no one will watch it or no one cares right now. I was kind of gonna wait to do interview videos until like March or April of next year. But if you want some more tips or tricks, maybe I can do like a shorter video about it. But yeah, I was crazy. Like I've looked up every interview question possible. I watched every interview thing on YouTube, every video on YouTube. I typed up questions to every answer that could have possibly been asked, I swear. I had like a 13-page Word document and just like read them over and over and over again and was super prepared. So I feel like the reason I was so calm was because I knew that like if there was a question, I was gonna answer it. So yeah, I was nervous, but I felt prepared and I was excited for it. So yeah, I think as nervous as I was, once I got started, I felt like very collected in all of my responses. and I felt like the interview panel and I kind of meshed well, and I really liked my principal, and then she offered me the job a day later, so that was awesome, and I knew that it was the right place for me because I felt so great with her just over Zoom. Alright, so the last section is going to be YouTube related questions. So a couple people have asked me questions about like, why did you get started on YouTube, or where did this come from? So I decided to pick the most popular questions and answer those. So the first one is, what made you want to start a YouTube channel? Like I said, I wanted to make a channel for a long time, and every year or so, or like throughout a couple months, I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And then I'm like, no, I'm not. Editing is too hard. I'm gonna do it. Oh, I don't want everyone watching me. And then finally in quarantine, thank you quarantine, a small bonus of COVID, I decided to do it. I thought it would just be really fun to do it. So I made a plan and I just kind of started it. I love watching, like I said, I used to watch beauty tutorials, and then over the years I've kind of like still been about YouTube. I always watch YouTube, but it's kind of what I'm looking at and what I'm watching has changed. So in the last couple of years I've watched a lot of teaching videos, obviously, so I thought, you know, I'm a first-year teacher, I love watching first-year teachers and other teachers, so why not do it too? Maybe people will like it, and it turns out you guys did, so hey, thanks so much for being here and making this happen. Obviously, if no one was watching, I probably would have stopped several weeks ago, a couple months ago. I would have never even gotten started, but I had a super positive experience with everyone thus far, so thank you for being here, and thank you for caring about my life. And then someone said, why did you pick Golden State Educate, and where did that come from? Well, I was looking into like, you know, how to start a YouTube channel, or like how to make it on YouTube. And I feel like naming and branding is really big. So I was trying hard to figure out like, what will fit with my channel? What kind of name could I do? And then I was gonna do like Life with Kate, but then there was a ton of people having Life with Kate on YouTube and on Instagram, so I was like, that's not gonna work. And I live in California, and California is the Golden State, and most of my teaching is about education, and Golden State Educate rhymes, and I think it's catchy and it sounds great, and no one had taken it on YouTube and no one had taken it on Instagram, so I trademarked that, and yeah, now I'm Golden State Educate, and I love it. I think it's perfect for who I am and where I am and just what I'm doing. So yeah, that's where Golden State Educate came from. This is a good question. It said, do you think your channel has helped you with teaching, and if so, how? I thought this was a really good question. I feel like it has, just because, you know, if you are a teacher, or if you're a student teacher, a huge thing of teaching is like reflecting on your practice. So all day I'm recording myself and kind of talking to you guys about what went well and what didn't go well. And I've gotten so many good ideas from so many of you. And I feel like a lot of the times, even during the last few weeks, I've been stuck on something, and I'll reach out on Instagram, or I'll mention something in one of my weekly vlogs, and I get so many comments of like, you could do this, or like different suggestions by people. And like 9 times out of 10, I take them because I'm a first-year teacher and I don't have like a whole plethora of resources or ideas or like strategies and tips. So I've gotten so many good ideas. Like I didn't have a phonics system, and someone said to get Haggerty Phonics. So I asked my grade level team, and they're like, oh, you actually have that. We forgot to give it to you. So like just small things like that have been super helpful. So yeah, I think having a channel has helped me with my teaching. It's made me more self-aware, and it also kind of like in a weird way makes me want it to be like more fun. So I feel like it's boring to just film the same thing every day in my weekly vlogs, so I try to like mix it up to make it more fun for me, more fun for the kids, and then also that ends up being more fun for you guys. So I think overall it's been a really positive experience, and it's helped me grow a lot, and it's only been like a few weeks, so I'm looking forward to continuing on. All right, and that is it. Thank you so much for watching my Q&A. I hope I answered some of your questions, and I hope you got to know me a little bit better. If you still have questions for me, make sure to leave those down below. I try my best to get back to everyone. I usually get back to people like within the same day or within a couple of days. So yeah, I will try my best to get back to you. If you are not already, please subscribe. I'm also on Instagram if you want to follow that. That is just Golden State Educate. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone.